Hello there, I've just finished clearing Limgrave. Every boss and dungeon has been cleared. Every single patch of grass has been inspected. But doing so also gave me an epiphany. My mind has become more clear than ever, although my spirit was broken. What I had in mind for this character's build was something of an archer, with a melee weapon for backup when shooting my bow wasn't an option. After going through Limgrave on this character, it has become clear to me that bows aren't that fun to use. And it's not because of things like crafting arrows or bow damage, those two things have been greatly improved in this mod. The underlying framework of the bows, the moveset, is clunky. That's not to say I didn't have any fun. In fact, I had a lot of fun on this character. But the more I played, the less I found myself using the bow. First though, let me tell you about what I'm working with here. This is Coppereye. He is Ironeye's much dumber cousin. Unlike his cousin, he is unable to mark targets. He does not have an ultimate art, but he can sometimes throw fire pots if he has any. He is unable to use strong attacks with a bow, and he doesn't have a cool sliding triple arrow shot like his cousin does. He has a great bow in his bags, which he cannot use because he doesn't have enough strength or dexterity. Ironeye has unlimited ammunition, Coppereye meanwhile has limited ammunition. But unlike Ironeye, Coppereye is able to block attacks with his short bow. This would be very useful if he could card counter with his short bow, which he cannot. While he's able to aim with a longbow like his older cousin, he is also suffering from severe tunnel vision syndrome, causing his aim to appear very zoomed in. So what can he do? Well, he can shoot with his short bow. In fact, he is really good at shooting with his short bow. That didn't look so bad, right? I was really slaying some bosses there. Okay, all of those kills weren't using the short bow, but that's a problem I was facing. Some bosses were so resistant to pierce damage that I had to switch to something else. Another thing about using the short bow is how little poise damage it deals. You're not gonna be seeing a lot of staggers when using this weapon type, but that's okay. It shouldn't deal too much poise damage since it's a fast, ranged weapon. On the other hand, I would have liked to see more critical hits since you can use bows to deal them in this mod. The short bow started feeling a little restricted. After having played Ironeye in Nightreign, going back to bows in Elden Ring felt like kind of a downgrade. Not having an over-the-shoulder aim style like in Nightreign sucks. And you may be asking, who manually aims bows in Elden Ring? Well, I do. I'm using mouse and keyboard, which makes aiming like that very easy. Now I'm gonna show you the horrible things that happened to me. Some background info. All the bosses that I showed previously I had killed within 3 attempts at most. The majority of those bosses died on my first try, so I was very confident going in. On my first attempt I was totally rusty. I didn't really know how to use the short bow against this guy. I didn't want to switch to my melee weapon at this point. What's the point of playing an archer if you're gonna switch to a melee weapon when someone's up in your face? I know it doesn't make sense to shoot a bow in melee, but any kind of build could always pick up a bow or a crossbow for a ranged option. I wanted to truly excel at using bows. Keeping distance against this boss was proving to be pretty damn difficult, since anytime I ran away too far, he would either start the drill attack or just telepathically swing his sword at me from a mile away. The short bow requires you to commit to the attack, since you can only roll out of it after the bow is drawn. While the short bow deals as much damage as a dagger, it's really not able to attack in between the boss's swings like the dagger can. Against this boss in particular, I really felt like rolling attacks were the best bet. Ducking attacks were the second best attack to use. I tried using a melee weapon here, but it was more like a test, since the weapon wasn't even upgraded. This boss is just so aggressive, and it's like he has some kind of special programming whenever you run too far away. It's not like you can snipe him from a distance, since he'll just teleport to you. The best way to beat the bell-bearing hunter is to be in completely point-blank range. But that begs the question. Why use a bow in melee range instead of using a melee weapon? Anyway, I died to this guy about 20 times. He completely owned me. On my final attempt, the stars finally aligned. At this point, I had become used to using the short bow, but it still wasn't fun to shoot this guy with it. Also, the rolling attack moves you forward a little bit. Sometimes this makes you miss the boss since you shoot your arrow from inside his body. After a dozen attempts, I managed to kill the bell-bearing hunter. He was my hardest opponent so far, and I knew that it would only get harder from here on out. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm not really sure if I want to keep playing this character. I was thinking about playing something that could cast spells but also use melee from time to time. The ranger was a fun experiment though. If this guy had Ironeye's moveset, it would really make this character pop off. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go shoot my short bow at this giant armored dude wearing a great shield.